actually so good in Spanish about 20 years ago when my prior to this time when I lived here,
Oh,
because I
I
always
think
had
we're
people around me
sorry.
speaking it. Oh,
Sorry,
okay, go
Yvette. I
ahead.
think we're starting.
Okay, go ahead. So good in Spanish about
We are live. You chatty boxes. Who's got the reading AI note meeting notes? Whose is that?
not me. I don't like those things. They're kind of
Yeah, I don't know who
aggravating.
brought that in. Oh well. All right.
Let me check and see because it's been doing weird stuff lately. I'll take it off if it's me. I don't know if it's me or not, but
I don't know. It's okay if it's there. It's being recorded anyway and streamed to YouTube. Hi, Aaron. How are you today? Thank you for coming to weekly training. Let's get going on this. Okay, so we've been about a month and a half on this. I see Aaron, you use it a lot. I love reading through your stuff. So just to recap where we are today, mostly with Metro AI, I'm seeing a lot more great things happening in it. People are asking a lot better questions, and they're actually showing a lot of stuff that I'm seeing that's leveraging my time that they can get answers from simple little questions rather than have to worry about it. And sometimes they don't even ask me the question. But this is a great resource for it. So the stuff I've seen on is how to draft a purchase agreement or a listing agreement in a trust. I've seen people upload title documents to get a scan on that. I've seen people upload um, property inspection reports, and we're going to go through some of those things today so you can see what we're doing. But does anybody have any things they want to share this week about if they've used it and what's your feedback on it? Like what did you like about it? Or what did you not like about it? Or just anybody want to share anything that you found useful with Metro AI this week? No, right.
Um,
Everybody's going to be shy because we're on camera. Is that it?
I I noticed that when I use it as like an app on my phone, if I'm in a particular chat, like for a transaction that I've been keeping track of or whatever, if I have too many messages back and forth, I keep getting an error message. I think maybe it's overwhelmed the system or something.
And are you talking about a direct text in? You're using the text feature? Or are
Um,
you using it on a web
no,
browser?
I'm using it as a web browser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that does happen a lot. And what I attribute that to, without the company really saying it, is that it's their growth. They've added so many users, but they've also added so much code to it as well too. They're really upping the features that are in the BrokerBot platform, and it will be glitchy. And when you don't get the answer, you're not getting an answer, ask it again. And sometimes it might just you have to wait a few minutes because remember, it's going out to the broker bot goes out to 199 different AI models. So it's asking Perplexity and Gemini and Claude and Chat. And it's got to feed back and forth. And there's a lot of data going back and forth.
Right.
So sometimes I mean, I'm using Claude now as well too. I got rid of Chat GPT and I'm using Claude and it's so much better. But even Claude takes a little bit more
Claude's wrong
time.
too.
Takes a lot more time, but the output on Claude has been phenomenal. Now I'm paying the extra 20 bucks a month because I figured it was worth it. And I canceled the chat because if you're following AI models, Claude is winning the race right now. ChatGPT is kind of behind the curve.
Yeah. All of my tech friends are using Claude as well.
Yeah.
So,
And then so Mark in our compliance loves Perplexity because that gives a little bit more detailed response. He likes that one.
mm.
But for my purposes, Claude's working really well. Anybody else want to make a comment about what they're using it for? I can tell you this week I used it for my new listing on Altamont in La Mesa. I fed all the information in there I needed it, and it helped me with my remarks in the MLS. Now, I didn't just cut and paste, I went through it, but with the what I used it for was to say, now I want you to highlight the neighborhood of where the property was located, and what are some of the amenities in the neighborhood that should go into the confidential the remarks. So it helped me with that. It also helped me with my Avid. So usually with an Avid, I like to take pictures of stuff that I see. And with the Avid, if we have time today, I'll demonstrate that. I uploaded the pictures and I said, here are the 10 pictures of my Avid that I want to use. Please help me formulate what I should put in this Avid. And it gave me really good responses. Now I had to modify some of it. And I actually would say to you guys, go ahead and use it because it'll get a lot better than some of the stuff I'd see in some of these Avids that come across. Because it actually shows you the right way to do an Avid. And Avids have always been a thorn in the real estate community side because it's not something that agents are well trained at doing. They're just not. And an Avid could actually get you in a lot of trouble in a claim if you don't point out something or you say something or what do you put in an Avid. So anyway, hopefully we'll get to that. Okay. All right. So let's get into the training today. I'm going to share my screen. By the way, just as a point of order, reminder, if you're on this call and you have not registered with your KW email address and confirm that email as well as your phone number, you will not have good response from the system. So I see people still out there trying to text and answer a question into BrokerBot, and they're getting limited response because they're not validated in the system. So if you have not registered your KW email as well as your phone number in settings in the BrokerBot backend, you won't get your response you're looking for. All right, so today I thought it would be fun to show you guys what it's like, something that can leverage you in your transactions. And I found this really beneficial this week with a property inspection report. And one of the things from a broker standpoint and a risk management viewpoint is anything that lands you in trouble, it's because there's a material fact about the property. And the great reason why BrokerBot and Metro AI is so great for this. It can go through the inspection reports that you get if you represented a buyer, and it could point out stuff within that you need to talk to your buyer out and consult with them about. So let me show you exactly. I'm going to upload a inspection report on my personal property that I just purchased in November. And I've already created the prompt, and the prompt is review this property inspection report, notate anything that is important, and draft a summary so I can speak with my buyer about what they should be aware of. Create a draft of an email to send to my buyers about items in the report to be aware of and possible requests for repairs. Save the draft in my folder for me to review. So I want you to notate, besides doing a summary of the inspection report, I asked it to go into my email, my robshantz@kw.com, and create a draft of the summary of the inspection report that I should highlight that's important for the buyer to look at. So while it's processing that, why is this important? Well, several reasons. This is a huge time leverage for you guys. Imagine how much time you can save first going through the report and then pulling out anything that's important for that buyer that needs to look at and then summarizing it. Why? Why is that important? Because remember, when there's ever a claim in real estate and you're being sued, it's because typically the buyer says, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that. So this is going to help you guys from a risk management perspective have all a communication log summary of that property and show that, yes, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I did talk to you about this on such and such date. Here's the email summary for it. The other time save is because how much time does it take to go through and draft that email that you need to send to the buyer and spend time doing that?
Maybe
Now, go
you
ahead.
mentioned dropping it into your folder. I love that idea because I was using ChatGPT. I would copy it, drop it into.
Nikki, you're not coming in very clear. All right. So here it is. Findings, priority items in red, plumbing, water heater, HVAC, electrical, kitchen. Now, some of this is weekend work, and now this is my home. I know exactly what's on my report. I knew what needed to be taken care of. Um, but it did point out the water heater. I knew my water heater was at the end of its useful life. That would be important, though, if you're representing a buyer to let them know, based upon this report, this inspector says, you know, this water heater was put in 2013. It's 12 plus years old. You're nearing the end of it. And most water heaters will last a good 10 years. You're lucky if you get 12 or 13. I've since replaced this water heater. Um, HVAC, we did inspect it, but in this report, I had to get the keys to the building to get up there. I was not informed that I needed to get the keys. It shows any electrical stuff and anything in the kitchen that needed to be done, and then any additional items to monitor or address. So this could be, these are like the weekend warrior stuff, all the stuff that's in here. And then HOA items to verify before contingency expires. Again, we had to get the keys to go re-inspect the air conditioner, which was on top of the roof. Gas meter, and then it created the draft for the email to the buyer and basically summarize the inspection report, potential repair request, water heater, circulating pump, cooling unit, electrical issues, toilet fill valve, dishwasher air gap, and items to be aware of as the owner of this property should you close escrow. So again, it's summarizing some of the important items that would be important to have a communication log for a buyer for any post-close issues that could come up where they can say, you never told me that I needed to have the tub did not have a gap at the faucet connection and was missing an inoperable drain stopper. And because of that, it blew and flooded all over the place. And now I have a $20,000 repair. You now have a documentation for all of it. And then let me show you where in my email. Did it not pop in? Oh, it needed an email address. Corrine, what's your email?
KIZIDORO@kw.com.
That's it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, in my prompt, I should have put the email address for the buyer. I didn't because I forgot. But I'll show you. And voila, there it is. Now I can go through here and edit it because what I'm going to do is also have a conversation with the buyer. And as a backup, then I will send this based upon what we talked about. You're interested in this, but I'm still going to have this as a summary in there that saved me so much time to have to follow up and write myself. How slick is that? I don't see any hand raises. I don't see any balloons. I don't see any thumbs up. What's going on here?
I sent my hand raises. You didn't see them?
No, I didn't see it. I can't see them all.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm going to save that. I'm going to delete it because I don't really need it anymore. But I think that's a pretty cool function. Any questions on how I did that? So again, here was the prompt. I should have put Kareen's email address in there. I didn't. But then it would have saved it in my drafts. Now you can do that on anything. So imagine you're you just came back from something that was important that you visited with a buyer at something they're in escrow with. You can then text into BrokerBot, provided you're set up properly. BrokerBot, create a draft and an email for Karina Zadoro. We just met at the property. I wanted to follow up with her. Had a concern about the foundation and the roof, and she also wanted to make sure that the home warranty was ordered because she wants to make sure that that was taken care of. Whatever conversation you have, you text that in. It'll then be in your drafts when you get home. So at 9 o'clock at night, when you get home and you're tired, you just go through your drafts, make a few edits, and send it. And that is the key to keeping you guys out of court, or helping you get out of court, or even maybe a plaintiff's attorney filing a claim against you because, yeah, we're showing you in the email that we talked to you about this, so you can't come back and say we didn't do it. Okay? All right. Next thing I'm going to show you what I do. So I just wanted to review this to remember all of your prompts you're creating. You want to follow what's the role, what's the task, what's the context, what's the style? What does this mean? So the role is, who are you? So if you're a mid-century modern home specialist, say, this is the role I want you to play in drafting this response. What's the task? I want you to give me a report of all the areas in San Diego that have mid-century modern homes that I can summarize in an email to a potential buyer who's asked me about that. What's my context? Well, I'm pretty easygoing. It doesn't have to be formal, just make it fun, carefree. And what's my style? Again, kind of laid back, professional. I don't want to be pushy and be a pushy salesperson. So now I'm going to show you what I do on a monthly basis. Is I actually do a monthly real estate report for my Substack. Again, my Substack is a monthly, think of it as a blog. It's like a blog. Now it's called Substack, where you can monetize it. I don't monetize it. I don't charge people, but I'm putting content out there because in this new digital media age, content is what you need to be putting out every day. So I pull 3 reports from SDAR. These are different than the reports that Ashley gives you at the real estate monthly, at the monthly meeting. When Ashley does her reports, she's doing a combination of the MLS reports, but she also does one specific for our market center. I actually pull for the entire county. So let me go back to where that was. I go to SDAR. Why is this not doing this? Come on. And then I go to the monthly stats. It's right there on the front page. And there's 3 reports I get. And I pull the one for March of 2026. They usually come out, I think this came out yesterday. Usually they're there by the 3rd or 4th of each month. And I view the report and I download this report. Okay, I gotta move this. Sorry. And then the next report is the housing supply overview. So I download that report. And the third one is the lender mediated report. So that report actually is talks about foreclosures and short sales. So I pull that report. And then, so I take those three reports and I upload them into BrokerBot. Oops. I also am uploading a sample market report that I did for February 2026. And this is the first time I'm using BrokerBot to get this, but I've uploaded it because I want to see what BrokerBot will do. Typically, I do this, I used to do it in chat. Now I do it in Claude. And this one might take a little bit of time to write a monthly real estate report. So I'm showing you this because think of other applications that you could look like the market expert in maybe Mission Valley or wherever you want to focus on. So if you go to the monthly real estate report over here, see this? It's right here on the right next to where Yvette's face is, the monthly market. Let's say you wanted to do a certain zip code. Then you go to the local market updates. And let's say you're doing this for a new buyer and you know the new buyer wants to be in, let's just say it's a market you don't really know, okay? But let's say for this case, let's say it's Del Mar. Let me pull a monthly market report for Del Mar. And because you have this new buyer and you want to look like you actually know the market, so see here, it's drafting my monthly real estate market update. And it's doing a pretty good job because most of my reports that I've been doing, it talks about the tale of two markets, and that is the difference between detached and attached. Detached is doing a lot better than attached. As a matter of fact, attached is having a little bit of challenge, but it's not that bad still. And then the lender mediated part, that's where it talks about foreclosures. It still says it's not bad for San Diego. And it gives an idea where buyers are finding traction. In other words, where can they actually do well in the market? And then my take, the window is narrowing for buyers and opening for sellers, and then final thoughts. And then I add my disclaimer. And it says where I pull the source from. You always want to source your material. But now let's go back to the Del Mar area. You got this new buyer that you are dealing with in Del Mar, and you don't really know the Del Mar that well. So let me see, they're right here. That might be too low for Del Mar. I'll do 1.8 to 2.0. up against if we look in that area? So here it gives you a summary for an email if you wanted to share this with a buyer about what the Del Mar area looks like based upon the price range they're shopping in and what they'll be up against. That just made you look 5 times smarter, Kareen.
I definitely need that then.
All right. So, and then other applications. Does anybody want another application I can show you? Trying to run 2 screens here, and this one's not working very well for me.
That's why we love coming to your classes because you make us smarter.
Here is a flyer I made for my new listing in La Mesa. Again, I didn't do anything other than uploaded the pictures. And then now this is going to be another class because I still have to learn this. So I'm not teaching this today. I just want to show you what you can create with Metro AI. But I had to upload the KW logo, all my contact information, DRE numbers, all that stuff. And then description of the property. And it was able to come up with that. But again, that's another course because I'm still learning that. Apparently there's a new feature that I haven't learned about how to do it yet, but you basically, because you can't modify this flyer in BrokerBot in Metro AI yet, but you can create a template to export it to Canva, and then within Canva you can do it. And since you all have Canva as part of your tech package, you'll be able to then modify it in Canva. So in other words, be able to move pictures around or take them out. Okay.
That's pretty awesome. Hey, BB, can you make QR codes in BrokerBot?
I don't know.
I mean, we have the ability through Canva and Command, I think too, but
Let me see here.
just curious.
That's a great question.
You just want to direct them to a website, right?
Yeah, I think that would work.
Or put on the flyer.
Right, or to put for the website, yeah.
I'm not really comfortable with the graphics portion of this.
Yeah, and it looks like it's referring you to to different gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not doing it.
No
So,
problem. Yeah.
no, you can't. I use Bitly, bit.ly for stuff like that. All
It's
right, any
super
other
easy in
questions you guys
Canva.
have today? What'd you learn? What are you gonna take away?
If we have time, I'd love to do that Avid thing that you said, but yeah,
Oh,
learned a lot.
let me show you what I did. Okay, hold on. That's a good one. Um, Hold on 1 second with that. Let me make sure I've got the pictures. I don't have the pictures downloaded. Let me see. Oh, this is what I'll do. I do have them. Hold on. Just give me time. I'm queuing up the. Okay. Can everybody see that? Okay. So I've uploaded the pictures of the subject property, and it says help me with my Avid. I am uploading pictures of items that I want to place on my Avid. Draft me the items to notate the right way. Now, I'm doing this on the fly. I'm doing it really quick. If I take once I go through this, then I'll go through each one of the pictures again, and I'll say, I want to point out on picture number 7 that I saw this. I'm going to point out on picture number 5 that I saw this. Um, so see if I can show you this picture. Yeah, so this picture, this was the backyard, and you see this dried stain there. Well, that was obviously from some runoff. I just wanted to notate that on my Avid. So when I get to what BrokerBot's going to bring out for me, I will go through what it says and say, no, here's what I really wanted to point out. Here's another thing. This was the outside of a back door that had a hairline crack. So I wanted to notate that on my Avid. And the other one, this was an inside wall inside the garage. I wanted to notate that little hole right there.
So Robert, does it actually evaluate the pictures? Does it?
Yeah.
Wow. And yeah,
Now, it's not 100% accurate,
okay.
all right? It'll sometimes not give me the answer I'm looking for, but then I'll go back in and I'll correct it. I'll say, this is what I wanted to point out. Can you modify the language that I should put on my Avid? Now, it's the language that most agents really F up on their Avids.
That's super
Um,
helpful.
yeah, Mark and I kind of have a little chuckle fest whenever he says, you got to check out this one. Um, but yeah,
Now,
we've
should we
seen,
update? Oh, I'm sorry,
go
BB.
ahead.
Should we upload the actual Avid? I mean, it has it in system, but should we upload it with it so that it gives us what section to put it in specifically, or does that, or we just do it wherever we know it's.
Well, I fill my Avids out on Glide. I'm not sure how you fill it out, but I know where the pictures. So if it's in the living room, I know that it's in the living room. So
Okay.
in Glide, I'll just check the living room box.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I do it by hand and then I type it in. So
And the thing is about filling out the Avid, you could use language that you should not be using, like um, found mold in the bathroom. Well, you're not a mold specialist. How do you know it's mold? instead of saying found mold, you will say discoloration on a tile near the bottom right of the tub.
Mhm.
That's the notation you should put. Yeah, it's taken a little bit more time to do the pictures today. Um,
That's awesome though.
Hello. Erin's here, that's why. Did she leave?
What'd I do?
It's going slow, so I said that's because Erin's here.
Oh yeah, I'm using it.
I'm going to say, hello, are you going to answer me or not? I got mad at it last week. It wasn't answering me. I said, I'm just going to go to Claude and get the answer there. There we
I
go.
love giving it a hard time.
Well, we trained our brains to have immediate gratification, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I just had to prompt it a little bit.
Yeah. It just Mitch McConnell for a second.
Here we go. Yeah. So here we go. And why I like it. So, photo number one near entry door. Observed cracking and crazing of exterior stucco on front side wall adjacent to entry door. Recommended evaluation and repair by licensed contractor prior to close of escrow. I
Whoa.
don't think you'd need that part. I think just the first sentence is okay. So don't take it word for word. But I don't think that's important that it's in there. It's just really just your visual inspection. It's not a recommended path for them to take. By the way, when you put stuff like this, buyer to investigate and satisfy themselves regarding any impact, plaintiff's attorneys say, well, that's not going to fly here. The construction in progress. So this was that concrete stain. New concrete driveway patio area observed. Work appears recently completed or in progress. Staining and discoloration noted. I don't know why it's answering all this with buyer to verify. I would just tell it, I don't need stuff like this. I don't want to put that in my Avid, but I would cut and paste that into as I'm uploading my Avid in Glide. And then it reviewed all the other stuff that would look important. I go through it one by one and then figure out, well, what was I really going to disclose here and what does it look like it's important? Again, Avid is a visual inspection. Remember that. It's
But
not
Robert, should we,
interpretation.
sorry, I was going to say, should we put though new ceiling fan and all that? I thought we weren't supposed to, because how do we know it's new?
No, don't put new.
Right, because that it said in there new ceiling fan, it said a whole bunch of news, and I'm like,
Yeah, you don't need to interpret if it's new. So again, I would pick some of the stuff out of there to make sure you're not making a guarantee on something. It's just what you see visually, but you got to be careful how you word your visual interpretation. You're not an expert in plumbing or ceiling fans or mold or foundation repairs, etc. But hairline cracks, you can see a hairline crack. Okay? All right. That's it for today. I hope you guys learned something. Again, is everybody on here registered in the system? Okay, good. Go in and keep using it because I go through occasionally and I see a lot more questions coming through. I can't even keep up with all of them on there. But the stuff that I really just kind of look at the questions you're asking and your prompts, and you're all doing pretty well in it. So